Hello, it's me, Lorenzo Buttram Hubbard. Hashtag I'm Lorenzo Bitch. Hashtag the Gay Socialite. Hashtag the Brickle Socialite. And you know what? I decided that tonight I was going to do my vlog from my home on my balcony on a Tuesday night, showing you guys exactly what I'm going to talk about tonight: how to survive Miami. So, the topic of tonight's vlog is how to survive Miami, because I have had so many people post messages on Facebook, on Instagram, that were just negative messages or sad messages about the lives that they're living. And I don't want to keep this to Miami. It's people living in major metropolitan cities all over. Because people move to these major metropolitan cities, I think, a lot of times looking for something. They're looking for love, they're looking for a better chance at income maybe, they're looking for more diversity, they're looking for whatever. But so many times people move to these cities, and even though they think that that's what they're moving for, they really don't go with the plan. They just go saying that that's what they're looking for, but in reality, they're going to these big cities just to get away from the place where they're living now. And you know what ends up happening? You end up coming to these cities and you leave disillusioned, you leave broke, you leave with your tail between your legs, end up going back to a city where you're from. And I thought that tonight it would be great to just spend a few minutes talking to you guys about how to survive cities, or how I survive. I'm not going to tell everybody about how they can survive, because everybody's method is going to be different. But I'm going to tell you how I survive living in major metropolitan cities, and I've lived in many. I was born in a major metropolitan city, raised in a major metropolitan city, educated in a major metropolitan city, and then I've lived in many major metropolitan cities all over the world since being an adult. And there have been some common factors that I've used in all of them to survive. One of them, and maybe it's not I'll say I've taken something from both of my parents. From my father, probably that ability to live anywhere in the world and be able to survive, and be able to, when I say survive, be able to intermingle with all types of people, and being able to know my worth and my value amongst all of these crazy people sometimes that I surround myself with. And from my mom is not trusting anyone, working my ass off, and always being prepared. You know, my mother always was the type of person that you had to make sure that your shit was correct. It couldn't be 90%, it couldn't be 85%. It had to be immaculate 100% of the time. There was no room for okay. And one of the things that you'll get, the people who know me, and hopefully even the people who meet me along the way, you'll never hear anyone say, "Oh, Lorenzo, yeah, I know him, he's okay." Girl, no. You will either hear one or two things. Either I love him or I can't stand that bitch. It's one of the two. And thank God there are more people who love me than I can't stand that bitch. And I can't stand that bitch is I don't pay attention to them. And that's one of the ways that you survive cities like this. You don't pay attention to the negative. You know, I don't know who it's by, and I'm probably paraphrasing, but there's a quote by someone, and I hate that I don't know who it's by, and I should know it because I knew I was going to do this blog. But there is a quote that I love, and it goes, "People are laughing at me because when I walk into the room because I'm different, and I'm laughing at them because they're all the same." And that's exactly how I live my life. I don't live my life trying to be like everyone else. I don't live my life trying to fit in. I never have. It's been difficult for me my whole life And I don't want to paint this picture for people, even though I've had a very privileged life. I don't want to paint a picture for people that it's been a very easy life, because it hasn't. I've had to fight for every single thing I have. And when I say every single thing I have, even my ability to stand in front of other people and just say, this is who I am. I think that there are so many people that come to cities, like a city like Miami, New York, LA, Rio de Janeiro, other cities around the world, Paris, London, and they go to cities and they actually lose themselves and they start trying to be whoever people want them to be. And that special, amazing person that arrived to that city doesn't exist anymore. And after a certain period of time, when that amazing person does not exist anymore, then they start looking for ways to, because they become depressed, obviously, and they start looking for ways to try to feel better. And that's where I think a lot of the drugs and other things, and alcoholism and whatever else, come into play. Because I'm here in Miami, and I'm going to talk about living here in Miami, I'm around people. I'm going to keep it real. I am in a city where a promoter, a stripper will actually be able to get into a club faster than a cardiologist. Let me say that correctly. So it's just to show you value. So because this particular, there is a certain amount of value that's placed on superficial here, and if you get caught up in that superficial, because let's keep it real. I'm not in my 20s. Well, first of all, let me finish that statement. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. I'm not in my 40s. I'm in my 50s now. But I am someone who, and the people who know me, and that know me on Facebook, know me on Instagram, that know me when I was a child, that know I was the shit when I was a teenager, I was the shit in my 20s, I was the shit in my 30s, I was the shit in my 40s, and bitch, I'm still the shit. But that being said, I do not think or walk into a room thinking that this can compare to a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. I do not think that no matter how long I go to the gym and how many repetitions I do, once I'm in my 50s, that my body is going to be able to compare to a 21-year-old or 22-year-old. And we're in a city where it's very superficial, and you have people still trying to compete and competing with things that they shouldn't be. That things for things that they should not be. So one of the ways that you survive a city like Miami is that you remember that you get in where you fit in, and you bring something with you. So if you are a woman who is 40 years old and you have your own company and you have raised a child, or you're raising a child and you're educated, you got your shit, you don't have to try to compete with a 22-year-old woman because her tatas are up to here and her boo-boo is up to here and all. You don't have to compete because she can't compete with you because your shit is already tight. She's trying to get to where you are. But so many times, the 40-year-olds forget their value and they end up trying to compete with the 20-year-olds. And that's what happens. And then the same thing with the 20-year-olds. They don't want to pay their dues. They want to come to a city, any big city, and blow up just because they have this, and this. Sorry. You have to pay your dues. Just because you have a pretty face and a tight ass does not mean that you're going to become the next Cardi B. She lucked out. And even a Cardi B, which I don't understand anything she's saying, ever. But even a Cardi B would probably tell you that she lucked out. And that for every Cardi B, there's probably 100,000 Roishas and Lakeishas and Diamonds and Mercedes and Lexus and Alizés and whatever the hell the strippers name themselves nowadays, because I don't know. And but I'm just saying that if you don't know your value and you don't keep out that outside noise, then you're not going to get to where you need to be. I feel, I'm going to tell you guys, I feel honored because often I am in a public place and someone, and a lot of times it's guys in their 30s, guys in their 40s, women in their 30s, women in their 40s, not just young ones. They do it too, but they will come up to me and they were like, Lorenzo, how do you do it? How do you come to places like this all the time by yourself? I have no problem doing things alone. And I think that one of the most important tools to being successful for me is being able to be happy by yourself. If you cannot be happy alone, then how are you going to be happy with other people or around other people? I spend most of my time alone. I enjoy my alone time. I enjoy my time when I'm out. But I enjoy this kind of time as well. There was a night that I was in Zuma. I had just left a huge party upstairs at Area 31, which is, and I'm naming some of the places that I go, because hopefully you guys will go too, because I love these places. So I just left a party at Area 31. I was invited to another party at the Lilt, and I just wanted a few minutes to have a cocktail, so I went to Zuma and I had a drink. Baby, some queen, and I'm gonna keep it real because I don't want to be fake. Some queen was at the bar and she was like, "Oh my God, you're Lorenzo. Oh yeah, I seen you on Instagram. You're the Gay Socialite. Well, if you so much, you all that, then where's everybody? Why you by yourself?" And I was like, "Girl, everybody needs alone time. Everybody needs a minute by themselves to just have a drink and then go to the next spot." And I made the comment that my comment was, even a Beyonce, even a person like that would still need time. Even she's huge. She needs time by herself to just sometimes between point A and point B to just take a few minutes. He said, "Bitch, you think you Beyonce?" So that was an example of a moment in a city like Miami where someone is trying to use their negativity to control your positivity. And I don't allow it. I don't allow it at all. And I think that it is important, and the reason that I wanted to do this vlog is because I don't want to hear about another person committing suicide. I don't want to hear about another person being strung out on drugs or all of these things that happen because they can't find the happiness that they're looking for in the city, when the happiness they should be finding is already within them. And the people that you surround yourself with are so important. I believe it's Janet Jackson who had a song, or in one of her songs she said something about something about people watering your spiritual garden, and I am so much like that. If you are not watering my spiritual garden, there is no place for you in my life. There is a time for people to come into your life, and there's a time for people to leave. There are people who are supposed to be bar people, and when I say bar people, girl, I'm supposed to see you at the bar. Hello, how are you? Kiss, kiss, poo, poo, bye-bye. But you'll never see my house. I am not the type of person to have parties in my home after the club and invite everybody. No, I'm not that type of person. Know your worth. That should be that's gonna be the hashtag that I add tonight after I finish everything, is know your worth, know your value. Because trust me, girl, everybody is gonna try their hardest to tear you down. It's funny, I'm a gay man. I am the gay socialite. And I do get my respect in the gay club. But the looks that I get when I go to the gay club are so interesting. because they're not always looks of, oh my God, much respect. He's worked his ass off. We're so glad he's part of our community. He's educated. He's kept his shit together. He doesn't use drugs. He's never been arrested. He did none of that. It's like green with envy and jealousy and hatred. You know what? I did not, and I'm going to say this. We just had great gay pride here. And it was very difficult for me to go to gay pride. And you know why? It was difficult for me to go to gay pride here in Miami, in a city like this, and I'm keeping it to, trying to keep this subject to how to survive a city like this, because I'm keeping it real to me. It was very difficult for me to go to gay pride because a lot of these people that I saw at gay pride that are standing around waving their freaking flags and talking about, oh my God, gay pride, where's that? Somos amigo. Girl, these people haven't spoke. They will watch you walk past them, and unless you're on Grindr, half-ass naked, they don't even say hello. But now, because it's gay pride, you want to act like we're all brothers and sisters and singing Kumbaya. Really? So I just say to the same thing applies, everything I just said right now. I think even women will be able to take that and say, you know what, that applies to us. That applies to certain groups, and certain people will, oh my God, it's time for us all to get together and do this. But I just saw your butt last week at the mall, you didn't say hello. I just saw you at this, you didn't say hello. Even men will probably be able to say the same thing. And now I'm gonna say to people just trying to find, now I'm gonna go into a separate little area really quick, and people trying to find love in the wrong places. I just went to see an amazing play, and I did something on purpose. I hear people here complain all the time that there's nothing to do. It's the same thing. Oh my God, I'm so tired of doing the same thing, and blah, blah. I find different things to do, and I go everywhere. I've lived in countries that are pretty much some of the poorest countries on paper in the world, and I still found things to do all the time. But I purposely put on Instagram and I put on Facebook that I was going to something called the Micro Theater Miami. And I put that I was going to a play, and I also made sure that I put what the concept of this particular place was, which it was, they have all these cargo containers where they do a different play. It's like maybe 10 cargo containers, 8 cargo containers, each holds 15 people. They do micro plays of 15 minutes. Each play is 15 minutes, and you can go, and the play is $6, whatever. So I did that to see how many people would actually be like, oh my God, that looks so interesting. The only person who actually responded and put that looks so interesting was a person from France. So I say that to say that when the way to survive cities like Miami, New York, London, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, or any other city, major metropolitan city around the world, Chicago, is to, one, remember who you are, 2, embrace what that city has to offer, 3, go there with a mission, and remember what that mission is. Remember why you're there. Don't forget why you moved to that city. And 4, surround yourself with people who actually value. Remember your value, and surround yourself with people who are watering your spiritual gardens, and recognize your value. I'm in an artistic profession. I'm an architectural and interior designer. I'm a columnist for magazines. People try to use me for my talent all the time. I recognize that. I know which people are using me and which people aren't, which people really value my talent and which people want to be around me. And it's not always about money. But the thing is, it's my responsibility. It's my responsibility. It's my responsibility to keep these people out of my life. So, hashtag know your worth. Hashtag I'm Lorenzo Bitch, hashtag the Gay Socialite, hashtag the Brickle Socialite. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at Lorenzo Buttram Hubbard. And you can also follow me on Facebook at Lorenzo Hubbard. And you know my website, LawrenceHubbardDesigns.com, if you are looking at some of my interior design stuff. And if you're looking at the Gay Socialite, it's thegaysocialite.com. And I love your feedbacks, even some people who put feedbacks that aren't so nice. I don't care. And now if you send me a feedback that's constructive, okay, I'll pay attention to it. But if you send me just a mean message that's just nasty and ugly, and you're from some place in in between haystacks and stuff like that, well, I don't care about your comment. Hashtag I'm Lorenzo Bitch.